Well, good day, my beautiful and amazing benevolent soul family. My name's Adrian. I'm here at Siberian Blue, the original Siberian Blue. Don't get it mixed up. I am in the process of developing a new product, and I thought I would start including you in the creative process. I have done a little bit before, but I've kind of shot content just to do explainer videos and things like that, but there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to create these works of spiritual technology, which is in essence what they are. They are frequency devices. They're like little generators. The crystals are carved in a certain way and used in a certain way. The triangles are made from the outer crystal of the Siberian Blue. And the inner crystal is carved with the tranquility symbol in this case, which is Arcturian sacred geometry for peace, tranquility, just finding that inner stillness. And that's the place there where we should be operating from at all times. And this is done by an inner piece of the crystal. When I talk about the inner and outer, what I'm talking about is on the original crystal. So this is my master crystal. This is the one that I have been taking around the world and taking to sacred places and charging it. And I talk about the kind of the philosophy behind that in other videos. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can go to our website, siberian.blue. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, Original Siberian Blue, same with our Instagram. And what it is if you know anything about this, and if you don't know the story about this crystal, how it came about, how it was discovered, how it was brought to America originally, how it was named and who named it, and the history behind it, to understand the real, true, amazing magic of this crystal, then you need to watch the YouTube video, which I shall put a link to in the description or in the chat. So I'll go away and watch that maybe after the video. You don't have to watch it now. So at the moment we are developing the mini Arcturian Soul Purpose Amulet. When I originally created the Soul Purpose Amulet, when I say I created it, I suppose I was the creator in the fact that this was given to me, for me to bring into reality, to make 3D, to make physical. This is a divine inspiration. This was a download I got. And if you know anything about me and the other modalities I do, like subconscious surgery and using advanced applied kinesiology to map out our psychology and our emotions and our biases and subconscious beliefs, what I do, knowing all that, is I use kinesiology, muscle testing, and certain frameworks and states of being to muscle test the combinations of crystals, the shapes, the sizes, the millimeters, the dimensions, the components, how they're arranged. Each bit is individually muscle tested on the basis of is this true to the authentic downloaded information that I'm getting? Is this authentic and true to the amplification of the energy and the intention behind the amulet, which is to achieve your soul purpose and your ultimate soul purpose, regardless of how you frame it now? Because I can imagine me saying your soul purpose and some vocation or passion, something you like to do comes up. But your soul purpose actually is to just be in a complete, loving, calm, grounded state, full of all the emotions and all the expressions, but without them being animated, without us taking ownership in ones that aren't serving us. It's to be a true sentient being, be truly conscious and benevolent, and unconditional love. Conditional boundaries, but unconditional love for all of humanity. And every decision we make on a daily basis is for our upliftment and awakening and the planet's betterment in some way to humanity. And if that is following your passion and being of service, then this is the tool that will help you get you there. When I originally made it, I made one for myself. Like all my jewelry and all my frequency tools and pendants and statues and, part of the Exquisite Crystal Carvings brand, everything I produce is really a little bit of a selfish act. It's like I'm making this stuff for me because I know I need to. And I enjoy doing it, and I love it. I am following my soul's purpose. This was a path that was given to me. If you know anything about the backstory of how I discovered it, then I would go and research that, because that was a very magical journey. I wouldn't have discovered this if it hadn't been for muscle testing and kinesiology. That's a whole different story. But when I made it, I muscle tested the components, and this, in essence, is the original size with the original chain. I did it with a 4mm chain, and I did it with this standard size bale. It was the first bale that we carved. These were carved in wax. And then I had loads of people say, wow, that's amazing, I absolutely love it, but it's a little bit big. So what I did is that I then came up with the medium, which is the one I'm wearing at this moment. And this is the medium, this is the Merkaba. So in the middle, we have the Merkaba, the human light body. This is the human light body. This is the field of energy that actually represents us. This is our ethereal connection to the spirit world, in essence. It's a toroidal rotating field of energy which is centered down our chakra system. That's where the donut of the toroidal system is, straight down our chakra system. And electromagnetics is light. This is why the chakras are represented by light, colours, frequencies, vibrational. It's a vibrational entity. And our heart is part of that. Our heart produces a torus field that can be physically measured. Go to theheartmath.org if you want to learn a bit more about that. So the Merkaba, in essence, is you in the middle of the triangle and the circle. The circle represents the masculine. The sun, in essence, is masculine. The sun is the seed of life. It is what flows out of the sun that penetrates the entire universe and creates it, in essence. Everything is light, everything is electromagnetics, and everything that's electromagnetics, everything that's matter, was derived in a star. Everything that you're made of, everything that this whole world is made of, everything that every planet and every gas cloud in the universe was made of, apart from hydrogen, because supposedly that was the first, in essence comes from a star. Now, on the back we have Mexican fire opals, which represent the orange. This is the Arcturian sacred geometry for soul's purpose. This is the energetic signature. Look at sacred geometry like a written word. If you look at Chinese writing, for example, it just looks like a painting. It doesn't necessarily look like writing unless you read Chinese. Same with Arabic. Same with English if it's the other way round. Unfortunately, English, well, fortunately in some ways for some, but maybe not how it came about, English is the most common language. And again, if you want to learn more about all these properties, I've got a video on YouTube which describes all the attributes about the crystals, about the sacred geometry and everything like that as well. So I'm not going to go into it in detail, which you can't easily find there. So the long and short of it is the placement of these all signify a certain message, a certain energy. It's like a story in a beautiful piece of jewelry. This is what it is. It's about embodying the divine feminine. It's about activating your light body, shining it out into the world. You know, this is about karmic balance. So this was the second one that I made. Now, again, I got quite a few people saying, oh, I love it, it's amazing, I really want one, but it's a little bit heavy. So I was like, okay, what we can do is, I mean, if we could partner it with a 3mm necklace, instead of the 4, it kind of makes it a little bit more delicate, so to speak. Now, I had many people go, oh my God, that's amazing, I love it, but it's just a little bit too big. So what we did is I developed the mini, or in development, as you can see. This is not a finished article. These crystals are not glued in either, so I've got to be careful. They're just rough cut. They're just so I can actually have a mock-up. I'm taking this to the laser etchers and I'll show you the box in a moment of how we're going to modify it. So I just needed a working full pendant. It's not polished, it's just come from the casters. The stones are not polished, they've just been roughly carved to give me the actual size, so when we kind of match it up to the inside of the box to get the clearance from the roof. The bail that I'm using here is actually the same size bail that is used on here, just for the box makers, because this will be the larger bail. In fact, I don't know if you've seen it, this actually comes with a larger bail with a 6mm necklace. This is like the equivalent version in the miniature, but then we'll do a smaller bail, which is about half the size, and then we will use this necklace, which is a 2mm necklace. So we go from a 4mm to a 3mm to a 2mm. And what that would give you, so first I'll show you with this will be the option that will go with this, although the 4mm will fit. That would be, in essence, what it would look like. I won't hold it up to me because the crystals will fall out, but that's what it looked like with a 3mm. And then, if you can imagine, use a bit of creativity, the smaller bail, about half the size. Oh, I've knocked the center crystal out. There we go. Oh, nearly lost it all. So there we have that. So again, if you imagine a smaller bail, about half the size, with that 2.5mm necklace, which, if I come backwards a little bit, and just be careful, that in essence shows you the difference between the medium and the mini. Oh, I've got to be so careful. There we go, the medium and the mini side by side. Okay. I've already lost one of the crystals, the corner crystals, twice this morning, so I've been crawling around the floor looking for it. So that is the large, the medium, and the mini Arcturian. So when I talk about the inner and outer, what I'm talking about is you've got this texture on the outer part. The way they're grown is on a seed crystal, and there's these wires that hang the seed crystal in the liquid, and it grows, the crystal grows to a point coming out this way. So the quartz point that you see in a standard way, these inclusions, which is what would eventually grow to that point. That's what it's doing. It's terminating slowly. You can see everything is chamfered towards the middle, and it would slowly terminate. That's what they do, and this is how it looks pre-termination. In essence, that's all. So this is the outside of the crystal, and then you've got the inside of the crystal. And because it's quite thick, and we don't need it that thick for jewellery, or most pieces, it's about 12, 15 mil thick, where we need 5, 6, 7 mil. What we do is we slice it, and this has been the challenging bit. We're looking at better technology, the wire cutting technology. So we slice the outer layer off at the desired thickness that we want for these outside crystals. So these crystals, the triangles, all have the outside texture. The carving, I want to be able to see really nicely. So I use the inner, which is clear. So you can, when you're wearing it against something white, you can actually see the symbolism and the geometry. Now the next part of development is the box. So here we have our miniature version of the box. As you can see, it doesn't quite shut yet, but this is what we need to do. So I need to take this, but first I need to measure these pieces, which I'm going to do in a moment. As you see, they fall out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the size of these pieces, because I need to document that, because I need to get these details to a specialist technology company that uses a 0.25 millimeter diamond wire in a CNC precision way to slice this, and it's just going to create a phenomenal amount of efficiency in creating magical tools out of these crystals. And I want to get as much crystal as possible. In our conventional methods, it's very wasteful, very wasteful. So you've got to watch these guys a little bit, because in the sample box, as you can see, we've got the certificate of authenticity on the bottom, and then we've got the Siberian blue Soul Purpose logo on the front with the Siberian blue center. Now what should be in there is that should be inside the lid, which is the Arcturian Soul Purpose sacred geometry, but inadvertently they put that on the insert, which is what will be carved out to receive this, and that's what they've got to do next. But first, what I have to do is I have to measure these tiny little crystals. Right, make sure my gauge is at 0. We'll measure the height first. .7. That's 4. And that one is 4.4 millimeter. So we've got a range from 4 millimeter to 4.7 millimeter. And it's that range which, I mean, we're talking fractions of a millimeter here. And we're carving wax with little blades and like Dremels as well they use. And that's the kind of accuracy that you're going to expect. You're going to get a range. So thank you for joining me and getting this little insight into behind the scenes with Siberian Blue and the development process and the things that we've got to do to create these wonderful magical beings.